If you've ever felt invisible, like the world had passed you by, this story will meet you in your darkness. If you've ever believed your flaws defined you, it will show you the light hidden within. In a remote village, nestled between jagged cliffs and endless plains, lived a young man named Armin. He was strong enough to work from dawn till dusk, yet weak in the eyes of the villagers. Every day, he repaired broken carts, tended livestock, and carried burdens that no one seemed to notice. But it was not the work that weighed him down. It was the constant whisper in his mind, "You're not good enough. You're invisible. You don't matter." Even his own reflections seemed to echo these words back at him, magnifying his flaws and magnifying his loneliness. One evening, as the sun sank behind the mountains, painting the sky blood red, a stranger arrived. His cloak was heavy with dust, his eyes ancient and sharp. He approached Armin and said, "Every journey begins when you stop believing you are nothing. Are you ready to see what you're truly capable of?" Armin hesitated. A part of him wanted to turn away, to stay safe, to remain unnoticed. But another part, the part that longed for more, stirred awake. That night, with the first stars appearing overhead, he made a choice. He would step into the unknown. The journey tested him immediately. They climbed cliffs that cut into the sky, crossed forests so dense that even the sun could not pierce the canopy, and navigated rivers that roared like wild beasts. Every obstacle seemed designed to crush him, and many times he thought he could not go on. One rainy evening, soaked and shivering, Armin sank to his knees in the mud. "I can't. I'm too weak," he whispered. The traveler knelt beside him, placing a firm hand on his shoulder. "Listen carefully, Armin. Strength is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward even when the fear is roaring in your ears." With every step, Armin faced more than the elements. He faced himself. Dark, shifting creatures appeared at the edge of the forest, their whispers piercing his mind. "You'll fail. You're worthless. You don't belong." At first, he fled, but each time he returned, confronting them with trembling hands and a racing heart. Slowly, he realized that fear was not a wall to stop him. It was a signal, a guide showing him where growth was needed. In a quiet village, they met a blind old woman. She touched his arm and said softly, "The world may not see you, but your worth isn't measured by their eyes. It lives in what you give yourself." Her words lingered like sparks caught in dry grass. That night, as Armin lay under the stars, he thought of his flaws differently. Perhaps they were not chains, but tools. Perhaps they were proof of survival, proof that he had tried, fallen, and gotten up again. The next days brought more trials. A sudden rock slide forced him to leap across a roaring river. A swarm of bees chased him up a steep hill, their stings burning like fire. A snowstorm left him nearly frozen, crawling on hands and knees toward the shelter he could barely see. Each challenge was merciless, yet each left him stronger, more aware of the resilience within him. And with each victory, he noticed something subtle but profound. He began to trust himself. His heart no longer doubted every step. His mind no longer whispered only of failure. The journey was teaching him that worth was not given by others. It was claimed in the moments when he chose to rise again. Weeks later, Armin reached the summit of the tallest mountain. Snow whipped across his face, the wind slicing through his clothes, but he stood tall, staring down at the world below. Here, in the silence broken only by the howl of the wind, He confronted the final reflection he had avoided his entire life: himself. Every mistake, every shame, every fear was laid bare. At first, despair gripped him. But then, slowly, understanding dawned. These flaws, these scars, these failures, they were not evidence of weakness. They were proof of endurance, proof that he had survived what others could not. Each misstep had taught him, each failure had shaped him. He laughed, a sound that rang across the valleys like a bell of freedom, not because he had become perfect, but because he had accepted himself. His worth was never about perfection. It was about courage, perseverance, and the unrelenting will to keep moving forward. The traveler, silent until now, smiled. Nobody is perfect, Armin, and that is why life, and you, are extraordinary. On the journey back to his village, the world felt different. The wind no longer seemed harsh. The villagers' eyes no longer carried judgment. For the first time, he saw the beauty in his own imperfections and the power in his own choices. He understood that true worth was not something given to him. It was something he had found, forged, and embraced himself. Even when he returned to the daily life of work and routines, Armin carried the mountain inside him, a quiet strength, a steady light, a reminder that he mattered not because he was perfect, but because he had dared to rise every time he fell. Your worth is not in your perfection, but in your courage to rise each time you fall. Embrace your flaws, for they are the threads that weave the strength within you. So my friends, apply these 3 actions in your daily life. Number 1, celebrate small wins daily. At the end of each day, write down one thing you did well, no matter how small. It could be finishing a task, showing kindness, or even just getting out of bed when it felt hard. This trains your mind to see your value in action, not perfection. Number 2, face one fear each day. Identify one thing that scares or challenges you, even slightly, and take a small step towards it. Each step builds courage and reminds you that growth comes from action, not avoidance. Number 3, speak kindly to yourself. Every morning, look in the mirror and say one positive thing about yourself. Replace "I can't" with "I will try" or "I am enough." Over time, this rewires your inner voice to recognize your worth, just as Armin learned on his journey. If this story touched your heart, subscribe and join our journey, because everyone deserves to feel seen, inspired, and unstoppable.